Hi. So I'm saying hello to folks, very few folks in the Zendo, and also to folks on Zoom. Warm hello to everybody. I feel slightly sort of, what's the word? Like a miscreant, because I'm not wearing a mask and everybody else is. But we decided that there's enough distance, and for the sake of the talk, that it's okay. So I'm also, of course, fully vaccinated and tested negative just the other day. So I think you're all safe, folks in the Zendo. And wow, it's I've just got to orient myself a bit, because it's the last time I sat here was March the 15th, 2020, which was the last day, a Sunday, of a 6-day retreat. And that was the last retreat we've had in this space, this hallowed space, this special space here. These walls. I don't know whether you Zoomies can see these walls. These walls they're adobe with flecks of straw. I hope the camera's close enough that you can see what I'm seeing. This golden flecks, stalks, and this deep earth. This amazing beast. Yeah, our true ox. That's a reference for those who don't know. To Zen's ox herding pictures. The path of spiritual progress. The pilgrim's progress of Zen. Finding the ox. Finding the ox. Finding the ox. Coming home. That's what it's all about. Coming home. Coming home. Coming home. And then living. Living. For real. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Huh. Well, I think that's the end of my teisho. Well, I'm going to tell you what I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about a sutra from the Pali canon where the Buddha talks about Heartwood, finding the Heartwood. And what he meant by that was not mistaking. Like if somebody wants, he sort of says, if somebody wants to make something out of wood and they're in search of heartwood, and they go to a tree and they get some twigs and maybe small branches, and they think they found the heartwood, and then they come back and then they find they can't make the thing they want to make. Then there's somebody who goes and gets the outer bark and thinks it's the heartwood. Again, they can't do very much with it. Then there's somebody who gets the inner bark deeper into the tree. Fine, it seems good, and then come home, try to make something, can't make it. Then there's somebody who gets the sap wood, that's deeper into the tree. And they think it's the heartwood. And they bring it home, they try to make what they want to make, and they can't do it, or it crumbles, or it doesn't last. Or there's the person who goes to the tree and isn't satisfied with the small branches and twigs, isn't satisfied with the outer bark, isn't satisfied with the inner bark, isn't satisfied with the sapwood, only satisfied with the heartwood. The heartwood, the very core of the tree. Now it's a marvelous sutra actually, but it's quite sort of in a sense I was going to say like slow and laborious, because it goes through very methodically each of these things. Now it is, if you haven't already guessed or twigged, it's a metaphor, it's an analogy, it's about practice. And here's how it works. I'm just going to, because it's sort of long and repetitive, highly repetitive in a most beautiful way, but I would, if I wanted to read the whole thing to you, if I were to read the whole thing to you, that would be the end of the talk. So, I mean, it would take up all the time of this talk. So I'm just going to read a bit to give you a flavor. Suppose a person needing heartwood, seeking heartwood, wandering in search of heartwood, came to a great tree standing possessed of heartwood, but ignoring its heartwood, its sapwood, its inner bark, and its outer bark, they would cut off its twigs and leaves and take them away, thinking they were heartwood. Then a man with good sight, seeing them, might say, "This good person did not know the heartwood, the sapwood, the inner bark, the outer bark, or the twigs and leaves. Thus, while needing heartwood, they came to a great tree that had heartwood, but ignored it, and instead cut off its twigs and leaves, and took them away thinking they were heartwood. Whatever this good person had to make with heartwood, their purpose will not be served." Okay, now, what is that about? Well, here we go. Suppose a person goes forth considering, "I am a victim of birth, aging and death, of sorrow, lamentation, pain, dejection and despair. I'm a victim of suffering, a prey to suffering. Surely an ending of this whole mass of suffering can be known. When they have gone forth thus, they acquire gain, honor, and renown. They are pleased with that gain, honor, and renown, and their intention is fulfilled. On account of it, they praise themselves and disparage others thus: I obtain gain and renown, but these other monks and nuns are unknown, of no account. They become intoxicated with that gain, honor, and renown, grow negligent, fall into negligence, and being negligent, they live in suffering." In other words, somebody who's made the step of becoming a serious practitioner and has won some renown for it, and they think that's enough. But that's just the twigs and leaves. Or there's the case of somebody who goes and starts practicing, and they do get some honor for having taken up the practice. Maybe that's a little hard for us to imagine, but in those days and in that place, if you became a monastic, you got some, you got some respect for that, But this second person isn't satisfied with the respect and renown. In fact, they know their intention isn't fulfilled, so they don't praise themselves for it and disparage others. They keep practicing, and they attain moral discipline, and then they are pleased with that. They think that is enough. In fact, they've only got outer bark, and so they're still suffering. The next person, I'm going to speed it up a bit. The next person goes, and they get the respect and renown, they get the moral discipline, and they're not satisfied. They keep practicing, and they attain concentration, samadhi, or even jhana. Wonderful, wonderful. And they're satisfied with that. They think that's enough. I got my meditation down. Good for me. Alas, that's only getting inner bark. The next person, they get more the renown, the respect, the moral discipline, they get attainment of moral discipline, they get attainment of concentration, and they also get knowledge and vision, or we could call it wisdom and insight, something like that. They get some greater clarity about what? Self, mind, body, heart, seeing more deeply into things, through things perhaps. And they're not satisfied with the first three, but they are satisfied with that one. And so, alas, they actually only have got the sapwood. And they go away thinking that's all very good, but they're still prey to suffering in this scheme. So then there's the fifth person, practicing, not satisfied with respect, not satisfied with moral discipline, not satisfied with concentration, not satisfied with wisdom and insight, knowledge and vision, only satisfied when they get total, perpetual emancipation, total freedom, a universal freedom. They have found the Heartwood. And Buddha says, somebody seeing them with clear sight would say, this good person knew the Heartwood, the sapwood, the inner bark, the outer bark, the twigs and leaves. Thus, while needing Heartwood, seeking Heartwood, wandering in search of Heartwood, they came to a great tree with Heartwood, and cutting only its Heartwood, took it away, knowing it was Heartwood. Whatever they had to make with Heartwood, their purpose will be served. So too is it with this person who attains perpetual liberation. So, monks and nuns, the spiritual life does not have gain, honor, and renown for its benefit, or the attainment of moral discipline for its benefit, or the attainment of concentration for its benefit, or knowledge and vision, wisdom and insight for its benefit. But it is this unshakable liberation of mind, heart mind, that is the goal of the spiritual life, its Heartwood and its end. This is what the Blessed One said. The people were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. Heartwood. What actually is it? What is this Heartwood? You maybe think, well, I get the analogy, I get the metaphor, I get the idea, but what actually is it? Is it for real, actually, even? And does anybody, someone like Henry, have the right to talk about it? And I can tell you, no, probably not. But I can speak from some glimpses, maybe, and maybe, and some sort of a sense of flickers, of shallow little flickers of what it might be. And we do encounter it in our koans. Last time I was talking, I was speaking about this famous koan of Joshu and the bowls, washing the bowls. And I sort of promised that, I gave a kind of introduction to it, and this is what I remember, and I promised I'd give another talk where I really address it more sort of directly. And the koan goes like this. The monk asks Joshu to help him. He says, I've just arrived here, give me some guidance. And Joshu's, right away, he's offering guidance. He says, have you eaten your rice? And the monk says, yes, I have. And Joshu says, so wash your bowls. End of koan. Now, I want to, so what the hell is this about? We'll get to that. I want to point now to Mumon, or Wu Men, who compiled this book of koans, the Gateless Gate, here. And the Gateless Gate has 48 koans. This is one of them. And to each one, Wu Men wrote a commentary and a verse. Okay? So that's the koan. Here is Wu Men's commentary on it. I think this is really pertinent to what I was just reading about the Heartwood. This is Mumon's commentary. Wu-men, Mumon, same person. Sino-Japanese, Mumon, Chinese, Wu-men. Joshu, opening his mouth, showed his gallbladder and revealed his heart and liver. If the monk, hearing it, did not really grasp the fact, he would mistake a bell for a pot. Okay, so just now, what on earth is this about? This is going to, I think, help us. I mean, I'm hoping this can help us get a bit clearer. That's why I'm bringing it up. What does it mean? Joshu just said, have you eaten your rice? Monk says, yes. Joshu says, wash your bowls. What does it mean to say he showed his gallbladder? I mean, that's pretty kind of extreme language. He revealed his heart and liver. What does that mean? Well, the only way I think you can maybe get any sense of this is when we sort of have to consider the experience at the heart of Zen, which I believe it's a glimpse. The ox of Zen is a glimpse of the Heartwood of Buddhism. It's a glimpse that can become maybe a little deeper than a glimpse. You know, the third ox picture is a glimpse of its rump, of its ear, of its snout, of its hoof, of its flank, not the whole ox, a glimpse of some piece of the ox. It's sudden, and it's startling, and it's astonishing, and it's like all our sense of what life has been is suddenly slipped away. And there's a much bigger picture. And in that bigger picture, even with a glimpse, in that bigger picture, what we are is simply not confined by this skin bag. This skin bag, not confining what we are. This is what we are. You want to know your heart is here, your liver, your gallbladder is right there. This is what he's trying to convey to us. That this is the world Joshu is living in. Joshu isn't just this. So Joshu just says, have you eaten your rice? Already he's showing totally what he is. He's saying it to the monk. But actually, who is that monk? Who is Joshu saying it to? Who's Joshu for us? Monk says, yes, thanks. Nice rice, ate it. Joshu says, so wash your bowls. He's got nothing more to give. It's this weird thing with Zen. We're asking for teaching. The monk says, give me some teaching, please. Guide me, give me teaching. But I mean, what does that even mean from the sort of perspective of what Zen is sharing with us? What does it even mean to talk about teaching? How can anything be taught from that perspective, from this perspective? How can we teach? What is there to teach? Who could teach who? It's a nonsense. So he just says, please, hope they gave you some lunch. Yes, thanks, they did, yeah. So have you washed your bowls? Go, if you haven't, then wash them. It's all, the whole ox is here with these simple words. So simple. So simple. So simple. And then Wu Men goes on to say, just because it's so clear, it takes us longer to realize it. It's so clear. It's just, it really is always here. So it's easy to get into the mindset, sort of, well, Zen's, this practice actually is trying to convey something, and so that means it's different from what's here now. It's trying to convey something that isn't my experience right now. It's very easy and natural that we would take it that way. But, tragically, in a way, or beautifully either, it is our experience right now. It can't be somewhere else. So, how do we get a little shiver of this? How do we get a little glimpse of this? Just a tiny little glance of it, a little crack. Well, there are practices, actually, there are traditions that sort of try to do that, arguably in more direct ways than Zen does. But Zen is trying in its own way, very, very earnestly, really. And, well, actually, in a certain way, I say earnestly, but actually in a certain way, for Zen, it's not really terribly earnest. It's just because it's so simple. It's not really making a great effort. Joshu can't help showing his liver and heart and gallbladder. It's not like he's trying to sort of convey something. No, he just spontaneously can't help but do it for him. So this is the challenge of Zen, is that, it's so clear once we sort of see it, but how do we help others see it? And the answer is, it's given us a ton of koans, and we just keep sort of working with them. We just keep working with them. And that saying, if you walk in the mist, you actually get wet. In other words, exposure to the Dharma, to the teachings, exposure to the koans can have unpredictable effects. It's not like, and you don't really, above all, I want you to know that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be trying to get this. It doesn't really work like that. As soon as there's any trying, we've already established the problem, that it's not what's here. Because if you're trying, we're trying to get something that isn't here. But actually, the revelation, or whatever to call it, kensho, the ox, the glimpse of the ox, it doesn't happen through trying. Because the moment we're trying, we've set it up as something different, when in fact, it's precisely this. It's precisely this as this is, not this in some other way. Like, okay, I get, maybe Henry's saying it's just like this, but I got to see it differently. Now, you don't even have to see it differently. It's not like that. It's just this. Yeah. So, it's this. Sitting in the zendo. Very simple, see? Very simple. Washing your bowls. So simple. Okay, now, actually, what I want to say now is a bit of a change. Because I'm sort of done, I think I'm sort of done with the bowls for the moment. Here's the other thing. I want to address our situation. I haven't sat in this seat for 19 months, almost. I'm 8 days short of 19 months. We haven't had, let's say, a teaching gathering in here for all of that time. Had a very few, very small sits. Very few people. And not many of them. We did an amazing pivot to going online in March of 2020. It was painful in some ways not to be able to be here. Some valiant folks, led by Dan, stayed on from that very retreat and formed a resident community for most of the time. Actually, I mean, the people have changed, but we've had some small resident community that had to go through quarantines and all kinds of stuff to happen. But that happened thanks to Dan's amazing stewardship and the boards as well. And but meanwhile, we went online, as you know, you all know, and it's been an extraordinary journey as well. Now, of course, you know, because people can join us from San Francisco, from New York, from Australia, from Norway, from Sweden, Germany, France, Britain, Panama, Brazil, Argentina. People have been joining from all over. And we've also been able to have visiting teachers, you know, at the drop of a hat, really. I mean, it's a whole lot easier, you know, than it used to be to have a visiting teacher, obviously. And as that was all unfolding, I had an accident. And it wasn't immediately apparent, but a few months beyond I had a knock to the head, and a few months beyond that, I realized that I'd been doing some Dokusan online. And I realized I just couldn't handle it. I got rather severe symptoms that, well, maybe they weren't so severe, but they wouldn't clear up. Once they came on, it was very hard to recover normal neurology. So, and Dokusan just fried my brain, I'm afraid to say, doing online Dokusan. So I had to stop that. And then there was the question of, well, what can a teacher usefully do in the online situation when they can't meet rapid fire with people, with students in the same old way, looking at them? And so I decided to start doing, I mean, with these fantastic online retreats we've been having. I started to have Q&A, which seemed like a reasonable step. I also started to want to, in the context of not sitting in the container of our normal intensive retreats, wanting to teach in what came up from my heart as the right way to do it in this context. And that has evolved into, I know some of you will remember last year we had some retreats called Original Love, and that just evolved into the new thing we got, which is courses called Original Love. And it is, I'm very, very happy that this has come forward, actually. And you know, it seems to have been sort of speaking, so to speak, to a lot of people, catching something that's needed for a lot of people, which is how to really share and open up the benefits of meditation for people who aren't either so interested in the whole ox or aren't sure they're going to get a glimpse of it, or actually really that isn't their primary concern. And we've always said in Sambo Zen since the early 20th century, actually, way back, 7th century with Wei Nung, Zen has always said there are different reasons to practice. There are different kinds of Zen. They say 5 kinds, actually. Wei Nung said 4 kinds, and then gradually it morphed into 5 kinds. And the Original Love sort of approach is basically that: 4 kinds of practice, 4 ways that practice can be fulfilling, and a path. Each one is really a path unto itself. And I want to help everybody to know about these, because it can greatly help our practice of meditation, any of us. And actually, there's a problem. If people are too narrow in practice and don't know about these other kinds, they're going to have deficits. We can get brittle, dry, and basically too narrow. The totality of practice, the real Heartwood, actually, is broad. I mean, I know it's the analogy maybe breaks down a little bit, but because it's in the heart of the tree. But actually, when we get the Heartwood of practice, it's very wide. It's not narrow. And it's important that even some of us old Zenis who have been pretty committed to Zen, we don't stay too narrow. I think that's important. You're welcome to differ, but I'm doing what I feel is the right thing to do. So I want everybody to know, everybody who's got any interest in it, that the reason we're in the situation we're in, where Henry's teaching this weird course called Original Love, it doesn't mean Henry isn't teaching Zen. Actually, I am, even in those courses. But not only that, I'm clear, my root is in Sambo Zen, taking the tree metaphor, that's the heart of it, and that's not stopping. So I see this as I'm very glad that we got this broader program, but it doesn't mean we haven't got the Heartwood happening. We totally have. And even online, we're going to continue. I'm going to continue with Zen retreats, like it or not, come or don't come, but they're going to be happening. And these Original Love program as well. So, some of you want more of that, some of you want more of the Zen, some of you maybe want both, but it's all going to be happening. And the great thing on top of all of this is that we've got fantastic teaching faculty. We've got Valerie Roshi, who's one of the most exceptional Zen teachers I know, teaching here at Mountain Cloud. And we're incredibly lucky to have, I'm not actually going to announce it quite now, but we have got more in the wings. We've got more faculty, homegrown faculty in the wings, which is extremely exciting. Extremely exciting. It's just what we want more than anything, really. And that I'm talking about Zen here. So our Zen program is unshakable. Okay, please take that in. Our Zen program is unshakable. Okay, so no more worrying about that. Put that out of your minds if it's been a concern for you. And I believe it has for some. Don't worry about it. It's unshakable. Okay? No more worrying about it. Okay? I hope you're hearing this. I mean it. No more nonsense. Okay? That doesn't mean we won't be doing Original Love as well. Okay? We got a wide welcome. A wide welcome. It's very, very good. We're very clear on our core. You want to go down the vortex, we'll take you there. Be careful. You don't know what you're going to be after it. But if you're looking for that, we got the big funnel. We got the wide funnel. You can hang out on the surface. Fine, we'll help you. We want that. We want you to thrive and flourish with your mindfulness practice. We want that. If you're looking for the vortex, we've got it. But watch out. I don't encourage it. Not at all. If you really want to know Joshu's gallbladder, we can show you. I can't guarantee it. But it's possible. I can tell you that. But it's a ride. It's a real ride, because it means that you stop having the life you think you have. It means you stop being the self you think you are. It means that you discover you're not what you think you are. And not everybody is really ready for that. And I don't understand why some people are and some people aren't. And alas, we can be in the situation that we want that, and it doesn't, we somehow, we may or we may not see it. Or we can be in a situation where we're not really interested in that, and we get struck anyway. Nobody knows. Right? I don't know, maybe Buddha knows. I don't think so, though. I don't think anybody knows. And may I remind you that the vortex isn't about knowing. I mean, it's precisely the vortex because it sucks us out of what we know. You know, we don't go there with eyes open. You know, it's a journey that sucks us out of all possible journeying, because it's so unknown to us. You can't know it. I mean, remember it says, like, you know, you may get the knowing and the vision, right, in the Heartwood story. That's only the sapwood. If you know it, that's not it yet. The real plug pulled out, bottom of the bucket gone. It's not about knowing. It's, yeah. So, I mean, I applaud all of us being, any of us, who are curious or drawn or believe in it or whatever. But we don't get there through driving for it. I mean, we get, if it's coming, it's coming. And really, it's more like stop trying and just trust.